Many organizations, both within the public and private sectors, are embracing the NIST Cybersecurity Framework to manage cybersecurity risk. The framework integrates industry standards and best practices and provides a common language. That allows staff at all levels within an organization to develop a shared understanding of their cybersecurity risks. In this presentation, I will use a small health clinic as an example. So how can we use NIST CSF for our health clinic? The NIST CSF is driven by business objectives and focuses primarily on cybersecurity risks as a subset of business risks. The NIST CSF consists of 5 functions: identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Each of these functions has several categories and subcategories that describe the targeted objectives. One benefit of the CSF is the ability to integrate the functions into the risk assessment and control selection process that the healthcare regulators expect. The CloudSark Health Clinic can benefit from using the NIST CSF framework in the architecture process. It can be used to broaden the scope for both security requirements and the risk assessment. It will also help during the defense in-depth analysis to discover uncovered parts of the cybersecurity posture. In the first lecture in this section, I talked about the Cloud Shared Responsibility model. This model is central to understanding security in the cloud. As a cloud customer, or CSC, you are responsible for security in the cloud. Depending on the service model, this means that there will be many responsibilities for you as a cloud security architect to fulfill. The cloud service provider, or CSP, must fulfill all responsibility for security of the cloud. This means hardware, software, networking, and data center facilities. I will use the icons in this presentation throughout the course. The red icon represents the cloud service customer, and the green icon represents the cloud service provider. The icons are used to illustrate responsibility for security. The CSF Core recognizes 5 functions that outline how to organize cybersecurity activities. Identify potential cybersecurity risks to your information assets. Our health clinic is responsible for the protection of patient records and the process that updates the patient data. It is particularly important to cover all these aspects in a risk assessment. Protect yourself against these risks by developing and implementing safeguards. All patient data must be protected and access must be given only when needed. Users must be trained in cybersecurity issues. Process and procedures must support the need for availability, integrity, and confidentiality of the patient data. Detect any irregular activity to determine if breaches have occurred. All access to patient data and access to the environment must be logged. Alerts can be set up to get notified for ongoing suspicious activities. Respond to any detected breaches to contain their impact. If cybersecurity incidents are detected, we need to respond. Access for specific users to health data can be closed and untrusted devices can be banned from accessing the environment. Recover from these breaches by restoring any broken assets. In case an incident happens and the environment can be harmed, we need a plan for recovery. Patient journals must be available for clinicians, and a solid recovery plan can help bring the EMR back in operation after an incident occurs. Building a cybersecurity program requires an organization first and foremost to understand what it needs to protect. The Identify function lays the groundwork for asset management, critical business operations, proper use of assets, how behavior is enforced, and how are risks identified and managed. In a healthcare environment, it's important to identify the patient data flow, the roles involved in the processing of data, and the patient treatment process. As a cloud customer, you will be responsible for your own asset management, business environment, and governance. The CSP is responsible for the same subcategories, but for the data center operation. As a cloud customer, you must manage risk in your own environment. and build a strategy for avoiding risk in your patient treatment processes. You're also responsible for managing potential risks in supply chain, making sure suppliers and partners can document adequate security measures. The cloud provider is, of course, responsible for the cloud infrastructure, identifying potential vulnerabilities and threats to the cloud platform and services delivered. The Protect function is the largest in the framework. It focuses on several disparate categories and capabilities of data and information protection. Examples include access control, training and awareness, configuration management, encryption, and protective technology. Once critical assets are identified and risk is measured, protective controls and capabilities can be established. The level of investment in each subcategory depends on the risk. You, as a cloud customer, must manage access control to your own environment, training your users in the health clinic, and protect health data both at rest and in transit. Use the cloud provider's native security tools to protect your data. The cloud provider must protect the infrastructure and ensure that all personnel operate in compliance with internal security policies. The CSP must also maintain availability of the cloud services and keep customers' environments segregated. As a cloud customer, you must make sure your security baseline in the cloud is updated and that necessary services for backup and recovery are in place. All equipment connecting to the cloud and the transfer of data from your devices is your sole responsibility. Use protective technology to secure laptops, mobiles, and tablets. Make sure that all devices used by personnel in the health clinic are protected and under your control. All physical assets in the cloud data center is the responsibility of the cloud service provider. The CSP is responsible for protecting assets and networks within the data center. This also includes all software and development processes that are part of the CSP service offering. Needless to say, the numerous examples of attacks against the healthcare sector worldwide illustrate the need for detective controls. These controls require a mix of technical and process capabilities to be executed by the security team. You have to collect and analyze both technical logs and access logs within your environment. This will help you determine if an attack is in process against your environment, or if malicious insiders have unauthorized access to health data. The CSP is responsible for monitoring all access to the cloud platform, including its own personnel. Some of the infrastructure logs will be available for you as a customer. It will be possible for you to automate detection of unusual events and create real-time alerts based on log data from different sources in the environment. You should utilize all native monitoring services the CSP offers and set up automation to handle security events. If you get attacked, it's necessary for you to have a solid response plan in advance. It's your sole responsibility as a cloud customer to have a response plan for your service. You have to investigate events and report breaches to authorities to fulfill your regulatory obligations. The CSP is also responsible for investigating and reporting security events in the cloud platform to you as a customer and to the authorities. You must, according to your response plan, contain the incident and reduce the impacts as much as possible. It will be important to learn from all incidents and prepare for the future. The CSP must handle platform incidents and keep the cloud services running in order to meet requirements in the service level agreement with you as a customer. Recovery focuses on getting the organization back to business as usual. When an incident occurs, even a cybersecurity incident, the business continuity and recovery plan will also have to be executed. The recovery function focuses on keeping the health clinic up and running throughout and after the incident. You are responsible for restoring backup and getting your cloud-based service up and running as fast as possible. You are also responsible for communicating with all your users and other stakeholders. The cloud provider can recover environments on behalf of you as a customer when this is part of the service level agreement. This also includes communicating recovery activities. For course discounts, free downloads, and advice on cloud security, visit my blog at cloudsark.org.